The universal business challenge really is to find ways to grow and to find ways to keep the company moving forward and expanding and growing. For anybody going into the world of business, growth has to be top of mind. It's got to be what you're thinking about, because that will define ultimately your success. One of the big differences too is between growth and profitable growth. Right? Because one of the challenges, I think, is that if you're not careful, you can get very caught up on the top line and you lose sight of the bottom line. And revenue is good, but revenue isn't everything. Revenue only matters if it's profitable. And ultimately, you've got to find a way to generate margin, to generate profits. It's not enough just to look for opportunities and innovations and new ideas. You've got to find the ones that are going to turn into profitable opportunities and ultimately into cash flow and growth coming from those. Growth is really about the customer. And if you're going to grow, you've got to find ways to get out there, connect with customer needs, to deliver against their needs and wants. And in all the classes I teach, we circle around these points because they're really the foundations, in a way, of a growth strategy. What they ran into at Discover Card was that they needed to find ways to grow, but the challenge was that a couple years back in the financial downturn, their resources were very limited. Now the problem is that on a credit card, it takes a lot of money to bring in a new person. You've got to get out there and put forth a really strong offer, and maybe that's just a cash payment, or maybe that's a zero interest for a certain period of time, or maybe that's miles if you're in that kind of a world, but bringing in new people is really costly. So what they did, they looked at the different elements of the equation and they said, the key here is what we've got to do is we've got to find a way to hang on to our existing people. That led to a whole series of efforts then, designed to really delight their customers, to make sure their customers were feeling connected with the business, to make sure they liked that card more than other cards, and they were staying with the business. Ultimately, it worked out brilliantly well. They slowed up the attrition and they built with the current customers, and in total, Discover Card went on to have just a remarkable run of success and growth by really thinking strategically about the different elements.